Welcome back to Multiverse News. I am Akeem, known as Musamichi, and I'm sitting here with Brian.
Hello.
And Stefan.
Hi, everyone.
Roman could not make it to this cast. However, we will be doing the best we can to cover his tracks. I miss him.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him in a while either.
Our top story is the World Magic Cup starts today, November 18th, all the way until November 20th. And we're going to be going over that in sports. So before we go into the World Magic Cup, there were a couple tournaments that happened this past weekend. Star City hosted a Modern Open in Columbus, and there was a Grand Prix Team Limited in Rotterdam. So let's go over that Open first. What did you guys notice in particular about this certain Open here?
Well, I mean, it's modern, so for the most part, you're going to see your normal playmares. In fact, Jund, Affinity.
Oh, yeah.
But the big breakout deck and the overall winner of the Open was none other than Tom Ross playing a deck that is fairly common in Tron.
Mm-hmm.
But normally when you think Tron, you tend to get your typical ones. Like you've got red-green Tron, you see blue Tron occasionally.
I mean, that's the only ones that matter, right?
But he was playing green-white Tron. I guess, which makes a lot of sense with the amount of Dredge showing up now.
Oh, yeah.
With the fact of white being such a relevant splash, mainly for Rest in Peace out of the sideboard, and then Blessed Alliance is the new one that was added, and then your obvious key cards like Path to Exile.
So why do you think that Tom Ross went with green instead of the blue splash for this Tron list?
You mean white instead of the red splash?
No, I'm fine with the white, but why did he make it a green white instead of blue white?
So, typically your Tron lists are often going to be base green.
Right.
Okay.
It's
for
Ancient Stirrings.
For Ancient Stirrings and Sylvan Scrying.
Okay.
Acting as ways to search up your lands.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing.
Now, the typical mono blue Tron list gets there off of cantrips and various effects like that. So and expedition maps.
Okay.
So they use those to find themselves their Tron lands, and before hitting that, they use counter spells and other things to keep their opponents disrupted before they can assemble a massive mana and win with various large creatures.
Mm-hmm.
The inevitable endings of Karn and Ugin.
Similarly, you have in blue-white, you have the various effects of a Tron list that gives you, but you also have a Gifts Ungiven engine.
Oh, okay.
So you use Gifts Ungiven to search up various cards that you need, or go Gifts Ungiven on turn 4 on your opponent's end step, put either Iona or Leshnorn into your graveyard alongside an Unburial Rites, and on your next turn, you will Unburial Rites them and lock your opponent out of the game.
So essentially, that is a completely different deck than what Tom Ross built.
Oh yeah, no.
His is more traditional Tron.
His is more of a tie-off of the red-green Tron list.
Okay.
Which is more of where the blue ones try to delay and stall and get to the longer inevitability with counters. Green's going with the I'm trying to get Tron as fast as possible. They want to accelerate it into. It's just that with the white, it's now giving him the sideboard cards that he needs for those matchups that tend to give Tron the most problem.
Mm-hmm.
Infect being a big one.
Oh yeah.
Dredge, just actually being able to go the longer games with them and can sometimes get around things like a World Coil engine or in his deck apparently a World Breaker, which is a fantastic thing to see. I think it was a nice change that I'm assuming since he won, no one really saw coming too much or was prepared for.
Personally, you'd think that the traditional green-red style would be fine if he was using things like Anger of the Gods.
Right.
I think the double red is where it got problematic.
Yeah, there is a lot of colorless lands in the green red Tron list, and any of the Tron lists really.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of looking at his list here, 1, 2, 4 lands that produce green and white. So
yeah, he's definitely leaning on Sylvan Scrying to get him the land that he needs.
Well, I mean,
the Ancient Stirrings and the Expedition.
It's the spheres and the stars that are what help him get his color if he needs them, which is a very typical Tron thing to do.
Right.
So, I mean, in, like, the red-green lists, trying to get that double red could probably be really problematic. That's why they normally run Pyroclasm, because it's just the one red.
True. The 2 rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely what you want with all the dredge running around.
Yeah, that's the boogeyman of the format.
Honestly, I'm surprised to see only 2 rest in peace. I'd have figured it would be 4.
Yeah. Let's see.
Because what I'm hearing from a lot of people...
You think it might have to do with the Ravenous Trap in there as a
Ravenous
wanna?
Trap?
The Ravenous Trap?
Yeah.
That caught my eye. I was like, what is this? Oh, that makes sense.
I dig it. That is some tech. That is some tech.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of dredge people who kind of just went, I'm just going to dredge this grave troll and this grave troll.
Oh, man. Tom Ross with the innovation. I'm just telling you. And he did, in fact, face Dredge in the finals. So, yeah, looks like all that tech really came to help him out. Looks like a standard. I'm just checking that out to see.
Yeah,
if anything
I can
different.
tell by looking at Matt Ayer's list here that he's going more towards the Rally the Peasants build, which it's starting to become more and more prevalent in the dredge decks.
Right.
I was watching BBD, actually. He did a video series on modern dredge, and it was pretty gross. He was able to use Conflagrate in combination with Rally the Peasants to bring his opponent down under 10, so his Bloodghast got haste, and he was able to finish him with like 3 Bloodghasts into Rally the Peasants flashback. It was
Jumping
gross.
Jehoshaphat.
So, I really like the use of the 2 Life from the Loams in the deck as a answer to someone using Grafdigger's Cage.
Yeah.
Because normally you're never going to cast the Golgari Grave Trolls in your list.
Yeah.
Because 5 mana is an awful lot for the deck that's going to be winning by honestly not casting most of their spells. But when you resolve a Grafdigger's Cage, most of your normal options are kind of shut down. So the fact that you can use Life of the Loam to get back all these lands to actually cast your Grave Trolls, which will be huge, seems like an excellent choice.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, does he have any other... Nope, he's only got the 2 Life from the Loam? I'm surprised I don't see a third one in the sideboard, but okay. Akeem, I do see you're hovering over a card here that I don't think you've seen too much of.
Well, I heard, what is it, I heard about this card from watching a particular show that I watch every Wednesday that I hooked Brian on watching. The Dredge Queen herself talked about Vengeful Pharaoh quite a bit.
Magic Mike's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Vengeful Pharaoh is it's a fun little card that tends to show up from time to time in these dredge lists, and a couple, I think I've seen it maybe in a Reanimator list from time to time.
It just seems like that's pretty legit.
Well, it handles those pesky threats that normally they can't deal with.
Well, Stefan, for those that might not know Vengeful Pharaoh, how about you explain the card to us?
Alright, absolutely. Well, not that the mana cost is too relevant in dredge deck, but it's 2 generic black.
No.
It's a 5/4 zombie with Death Touch, which isn't okay, but it's the giant paragraph underneath it that becomes relevant here, Ryan. It says, whenever combat damage is dealt to you or a planeswalker you control, if Vengeful Pharaoh is in your graveyard, destroy target attacking creature, then put Vengeful Pharaoh on top of your library.
Seems pretty good.
In a dredge deck? Hell yeah. Especially when you can dredge.
Anything that plays with your graveyard, this card is incredible.
So, before we move on, the really fun thing about Vengeful Pharaoh is if you look at the art,
Oh, yeah.
is he is wearing a crown, and his scepter as well are both shaped as Bolas's horns. And we're kind of heading back to we're not heading back to anyway. We're heading to a Egyptian themed plane run by Nicol Bolas.
See where you're going there, Brian. Are you calling a Vengeful Pharaoh reprint in the next set?
Maybe, or at least an homage.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I can get
agree.
behind that.
Plus with the release of the art book, the cover of the art book for not Kaladesh, Amonkhet. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. So that art, you see a lot of Nicol Bolas.
It's just plastered all over it.
Yeah.
It's plastered all over the cover.
Plus a giant alligator man, which I hope we see a card of.
Okay. So my favorite thing, as someone who likes blue-black, there is a jackal god statue in that art who wears an exact same outfit as Ashiok.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You're happy about that, aren't you?
Oh my god.
Can I predict? Can I get an Ashiok?
So I was gonna say, scratch the Vengeful Pharaoh. You just calling that Ashiok
I just
reprint?
want Ashiok.
Too
That's
bad
all
he was
I
in
want.
Theros. It's not coming back.
Oh man.
I don't need a reprint. I'll take a new one.
It's not gonna be as good.
Don't care. It'll do what I need.
So,
Never let me down before.
So then, aside from that open, it seemed like the top 8 was rather normal. Affinity, Burn. I saw Grixis Delver.
That's
top.
about the besides the Green White Tron and the Grixis Delver, there's not much that stood out, honestly.
At least from the top 8.
I can't really say I watched much of the Open this weekend, as we have all been very busy in the last little while. Hence the lack of podcasts.
And now we have one in spades. Everywhere. But Grand Prix Rotterdam was a team limited GP. And with Worlds being a team event, this is actually pretty relevant, maybe foretelling of the future. So,
Well,
Perhaps 703 teams showed up?
heck yeah, man.
Wow.
Team events are very popular. And I wish, I'm glad Magic or Wizards are listening that we want more team events. I hope they continue to listen and provide more in the future. Especially with them focusing on trying to have Pro Tour teams.
well, one can only hope. Especially with, they've got a, besides World Magic Cup being a team environment, I believe they've got a team modern unified constructed GP coming up soon. To me, the most surprising thing about this event was not who made the top 4 and not who made day 2, but who missed day 2.
Yeah.
The good old Peach Garden Oath was lacking Huey Jensen this weekend,
Oh no!
but they managed to replace him with Ben Stark.
That's a match made in heaven then, right?
You-
It's a
I was
pretty
gonna
good
say-
team.
The limited
I was
mastermind!
gonna say
They went
he's-
5-4.
Oh no!
Yeah. Yeah.
The upset!
Yeah, our boys, the Peach Garden Oath, did not make day 2.
Man, it's unfortunate.
But we had some good players make this top 4, because it's a team limited event and
Word.
they don't have top 8s.
No, they don't.
We've got multiple Hall of Famers. We've got multiple platinum level pros. Many of the other ones are gold.
Yeah, what about in the top 4? The fact they had Palavider Damadorosa, Shahar Shenhar, and Brian Huff.
Ostrovsky.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I knew the name, I just didn't want to butcher it. You're a good guy, I'm sorry.
That's a pretty powerful team. I might put my money on the team of Raphael Levy, Tomohiro Saito, and Jeremy Dazani.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That's a scary team right there.
That's powerful. But then apparently Frank Karsten brought his boys to the crew, and they were the last.
Yeah, Frank Karsten is a Magic player.
Yeah.
But
they
at
were
the end
not
of
the
it-
winners, were
yeah, I
they?
was gonna say.
No, sadly, Frank Karsten's teams fell in the finals to Marcio Calvaro's team, which consisted of him, Javier Dominguez, and Luis Salvato.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's pretty telling. Did any of you guys happen to actually catch that? I was busy chasing around twin girls around the house.
No, I was busy recovering coming back from the West Coast.
Oh yeah, you were in Cali town, huh?
Yeah, all last weekend and last week, so that's part of the reason why I wasn't able to catch a whole lot.
I did not. I was watching a live charity stream.
Shout out to stream.
Oh, I was watching Rooster Teeth and their live charity stream for Extra Life.
Green energy.
Blue Green Energy with Rashmi.
Damn.
And yeah. Wild Wanderer. Ooh,
Wow.
it's splashing that for Skywalker shot. That seems legit, especially with the one Attune and the one Plains. Black Red. Artifacts. Yeah.
Oh, what a surprise. He had Multiform Wanderer and Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Yep.
And everything you needed in
Tidy
red.
Conclusion. The Train. The Charger. The
He was
Freighter.
all on that.
Yeah.
All on that.
Plus with a Foundry Expector to make it a little bit cheaper. And now we got white blue. Uh-oh. 420 Cloud Blaze it.
With Wisp-Weaver.
Yeah, it's
Oh, dear God.
and Fairground Warden. Oh my god. Oh no.
Oh, with the outcome, too.
Oh jeez. This was good. This is a good deck. I don't think people would have had a hard time against that deck anyway. And the opponents, Black Red Artifacts again.
Oh,
Pia Nalado.
But I think that's about it. It didn't have much.
Yep, that was it. It wasn't really leaning too much on the artifact.
Well, it didn't go as big as the other one did, and that's probably part of the problem.
Multiple Wanderer. Dak probably should have went in another deck, but I think I know why it went in here. Because it's a potential flyer.
Gotta love the double inspired charge.
Oh, ugh.
Jesus.
With the Freighter and Revoke Privileges to shut down.
Well, you gotta remember, these are draft decks.
Yep. So
they're what they drafted. They don't get to move
pick
those cards.
Yeah, they get to pick and choose. This is just what they got. Yeah, that makes sense.
So while that Multiform Wonder would have been better in that black-red list, they can't do that.
Yep, exactly. So it just seemed like the other team, the winning team, drafted a better game because it looked like a sealed deck for a second.
Team drafting is...
It's a whole different monster than just drafting.
Well, it's even a different monster than Team Sealed.
Yeah, as we know. Oh, man.
Different beast altogether.
So then, World Magic Cup. What's different about this World Magic Cup right now?
Well, in the past, the World Magic Cup had been a multi-format event. Typically sealed into constructed, typically Team Unified Standard on day one. And then day two, they would once again do Team Sealed and Team Unified Standard.
Kind of similar to how Pro Tours normally break down, where it's
Correct. It would go
first limited, then constructed, limited, constructed.
Correct. And then, like in Pro Tours, in the top 8, they would finish with constructed.
Yeah.
Right.
However, this year, not only did they change the fact that it is typically from the fact that it was standard, it is now Unified Modern. And they're also starting us off on day one with 3 rounds of sealed like normal, but that will be the only limited in this event. All the subsequent rounds will be Team Unified Modern Constructed.
Even day 2.
Even day 2. That is full 7 rounds of Team Unified Modern Constructed.
What about What about the finals then? Like the playoffs, the last ones.
Those are also Team Unified Modern Constructed.
Shut the front door.
Front door will now be shut.
My God. Okay, so it. Before we even get into this, it seems like Wizards is actually listening, and they understand that most people aren't really interested that much in the limited portion of these tournaments, and therefore are at least trying to limit them.
I get what you're going with there.
Yeah.
That's pun. Limit what they're going with there. Huh?
You know, Louis Skywalker's taught me well.
But yeah, limited events. Well, I personally enjoy watching
I was
them.
gonna say I'm torn on this, but
Often have they're just less exciting, and to the average player, and
to the new person, they have no idea what's going on for the most part.
they lack a consistency.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people complain about Standard being stale because it has the same deck after same deck. It's something that a viewer can take and find a familiarity with, and like, oh, I play White Blue Flash. I understand what's going on. This is what I should be doing.
Or
I understand what's in the basic list.
Right. I was gonna say, or it's just the constant seeing the same card.
Right.
You can better understand the relevance.
But in limited, you're like, I don't know what could be in his deck. I wasn't there when he drafted it.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what's gonna happen? Who
Right.
knows what outs he has?
Exactly.
It's all up in the air. Also, when you play constructed every week, watching a constructed GP helps you, especially if there's someone's playing the same deck that you do. It gives you either ideas for tech you could use, or it gives you just like plans, shows you ways you could play your deck against different decks. In limited, it shows you cool tricks you can do, and maybe shows you just different ways you could go about the format. It just is not ever like an idea. It doesn't continually help you grow with one deck, which I find personally less useful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of torn as well. I really enjoy limited, especially in team events. That's probably where limited is probably my favorite to play is in team events. I may or may not be torn by the fact that we did a lot of testing for a limited event recently, but it's probably the rules and the way you're forced to make your decks is a very intricate way that I appreciate and helps stretch me in different ways as a player. But from taking it from how Wizards is trying to go, where they're trying to make this more enjoyable for new people in general, it's a new change. I hope it works well for them, and I guess at the same time, I'm not opposed to watching Standard more either. So
I feel like also this probably would have been. This type of change probably should have been more implemented more into a regular Pro Tour, and I only say that because this is Worlds. And the unified format that they decided to go for in terms of constructed was Modern. And as I can attest, as a new person, learning Modern was like, it broke all the rules of my understanding of the game. Like, I knew there were some crazy plays. I didn't know exactly what those crazy plays were. So they're trying to do that now. I mean, are they trying to appeal to the everyday Magic player, the new Magic player, or those that are specifically looking for Magic?
Honestly, if I were to have done this event, I would have split it half Unified Team Standard and half Unified Team Modern.
I agree.
I understand that the limited portion is there for Wizards to showcase their new cards and to prompt sales, especially since Modern is going to mostly lack those new cards.
yeah, pretty much.
Which may not be as much the case, since you are limited, especially in this type of format, on your mana base. And with us getting these fast lands, those will be showcased, but lands aren't very exciting cards. They're necessary, but I wouldn't call them exciting.
Right. I'm not excited to see a fetch land being played, as I am for seeing that turn 4.
Kalidas out of Jund?
Yeah, exactly. Or seeing World Breaker and a Tron list.
Right.
I was going to say Blessed Alliance, Warping Whale.
Yeah, stuff like that would be more exciting. But regardless, that action is going to start today, or by the time this goes up, it's already started. You're probably already watching. Make sure to check out this podcast after you're done.
Well, before we move on, I just want to get your guys' ideas. If you were to go and build a Team Unified Modern Constructed, what are your 3 decks?
Each, or just what would we play?
What are your 3 decks that you
so
choose
if you,
to bring to this tournament?
you had a team, what 3 decks would you be bringing?
You can only have 4 of copy of any card
In one deck.
Well, they can be split between the decks. They just can't be more than that 4 cards between the 3.
Elves is 1.
All right.
Burn is 1.
Elves and Burn. What do you bring in next?
Tron. Don't know which Tron.
I mean,
That's a fair question. That's a fair question.
Yeah, because it could be blue and
I
white.
was gonna say you're not stepping over toes there.
Mm-hmm.
You've picked 3 decks that would work. Nice. How about you, Steph?
Jund.
Oh man, that's covering
That's
like
a lot of fetches.
I know it does, but it depends on what your other 2 ones are. You got Jund. You have. I was thinking. Probably Tron. And then the last one, I would probably go with Lantern.
That was one of the things I was thinking of. Like, that's a good one, but it doesn't step over toes. Brian, for yours.
Dredge, Infect, Boggles.
Yeah?
That's a good one. Super aggro. Deal with my shit.
And I mean, he makes a good point. Because I was actually teetering on Boggles, but Jund does use a lot of fetch lands, as he said.
I'm surprised we hadn't talked about Affinity.
The thing about Affinity is it's very weak to a lot of the removal right now.
Similarly, that's why I wouldn't show up with Lantern.
But also, since only the decks have to share the cards, they all can't share the same sideboard.
Right. Exactly.
So you could get lucky and they just don't have it in their sideboard and just destroy them. So I mean that's why I feel like this Modern Constructed Team Unified at least is could be very interesting to see what they choose as their main weapons of attack.
I just feel like this is a kind of format where Lantern can probably thrive really well. Just because now they don't have to deal with as much potential hate.
I'd be worried about a time limit constraint.
That is true. You think they won't just auto-concede?
No. I would make them play it out, personally. Also, the issue becomes you have to be very familiar with that deck. That is one of the decks in the format you have to be very familiar, one, with your own, and the rest of the format.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they just play around you really
So,
well.
the players that are doing well with that deck are people like Sam Black. And Owen Turtenwald took it to a 10-5 last weekend.
Right.
Or no, 2 weekends ago. And Ruben Bressler took it to a 10-5 this last weekend at the Open.
Right.
Who actually had some spicy tech in there. I can't remember what it was, but he had spicy tech. So if you want to go look up that list, it was good. It was a good list. We'll post the link.
Post the link in the description or along our Facebook page. So guys, you too can catch the World Magic Cup today, November 18th. And if you're in Eastern Time Zone, that's 4 a.m. Pacific Time Zone, 1 a.m. Everywhere else, I'm sorry, please do the math. So with all that information in mind, the weather comes upon us. Guys, how do you think all of this is going to affect Modern meta in the future? Just in general. If at all, even.
I mean, what are you referring to? Are you referring to like
the recent Modern Opens, the fact that World Magic Cup is Team Unified Modern? There's been a lot of Modern these past few months, not months, but past few weeks since the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen more Modern than I have Standard, to be honest.
The Eternal formats have definitely been on trend and the main events as of late. And I think that's just with overlap between modern GPs and a few modern opens. And then there was a few legacy there was a legacy open and the Eternal weekend. So it started to feel like Standard wasn't a thing. Also, Standard happens to be doing the same thing it did during Theros, where it found its main couple decks, and it's settled into those decks being what people are playing. The white-blue Flash being your mono-blue Devotion, and your green-black Delirium being your mono-black Devotion. And then you've got smatterings of other things. In this case, you've got white-red vehicles / Mardu vehicles being your burn list, or green-red monsters that was at the time.
Or that, would you say more that's the energy list?
I feel like green-red energy is more of an outlier. It's a deck, but it's not one that shows up as much as the big three.
It showed up just about in at least once in the top 8. In some form.
Right, but it's normally one, where if you look at Flash or
in
Delirium
comparison to those.
or vehicles, but that's just because those are the big three.
The main difference is you don't have despite the fact that Control won the Pro Tour, there is no, like at that time, there is no Esper Control, white Control running around.
Right.
Which at the time, that time was a major and dominant force alongside the Devotion lists. There's occasionally smatterings of blue-red or blue-white-red popping up. I haven't really seen Grixis much since the Pro Tour. Having played it, I wasn't that big a fan. It didn't do what I wanted to do. I know you played it, Steph.
Yeah, I felt comfortable with it, but I mean that's a little bit more how I play my Control. So I'm when I play Control, I play until I feel like I have complete and utter dominance over it. I'm just polar opposites with depending on what I'm playing. Regardless.
It's hard to feel that way without a Sphinx's Rev in the format.
I mean, you're definitely not wrong. Standard has definitely gotten to its
Polarized
niche, what it needed for people to go forward with how they need to build or create other new decks, knowing what their gauntlet has to be now.
It's found its stability point.
Yep, and it's approaching that point where in about a month's time we'll be looking at the new set anyway starting to pop out.
Yeah, I believe that comes out in January?
Yeah, January 20th, I believe.
We'll likely start getting the
hype around Christmas time, probably.
Hype and just spoilers, even if it's not from Wizards of the Coast. I don't support that, but we'll likely see one or two.
They're probably going to do a Christmas spoiler of some sort.
That would be nice, just like the Kiora.
Yeah.
Right.
My heart.
Anyway.
But, so that leaves Standard being a fairly stagnant format. Modern, while you have millions of
card access.
Well, not millions. But you have
pretty hefty card pool.
You have a hefty card pool and a fairly hefty list of decks that you can play. It also feels very stagnant right now, with Dredge being everywhere. That and Infect and Bant Eldrazi feel like the biggest decks right now. I mean, there's small little innovations you can do on each of these lists. But for the most part, it feels like the format's revolving around this particular area.
You either beat those decks or you play those decks,
Correct.
essentially.
For the most part, I agree with you. Absolutely. Those definitely seem to be the big ones. I haven't seen Infect as much, but I mean, it's always there no matter where you go with Modern Tournament. I guess I'm just not seeing the same results that you are, or I missed a week because of my trip. Because I just feel like with the Dredge matchups that just sounds bad to be playing with all that running around.
The thing is, you can kill them on turn. You can kill the dredge deck before the dredge deck really gets going, and you can also pile a lot of the stuff onto your flyer in your Inkmoth Nexus,
Yeah,
and the dredge deck has no way of interacting with it
I understand.
because most of the dredge deck's interaction is at sorcery speed or I'm blocking with all my dudes I recurred.
Yeah.
So that's point taken there. So do you think we're going to continue to see Dredge until they make some sort of broken graveyard hate? Or you
Honestly,
think as much as they can
I
go?
think they're going to rebang Golgari Grave Troll.
I wouldn't be surprised because it's really what makes the deck go off.
The fact it dredges 6 is busted.
It also didn't help that it got the fantastic addition of Cathartic Reunion.
Well,
Discard 2, draw 3?
Cathartic Reunion is really good. But, as I said earlier about Golgari Grave Troll, it plays well your deck is not stymied. But if you do something, say, like Draft Digger's Cage, you can still just play it and it's a giant creature.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have that, you have a Stinkweed Ink, who's a 1/2 flyer, or you have Golgari you have Golgari Thug, who's like a 3/2 vanilla.
Yeah.
Like, these are substantial downgrades to your either giant creature or having Dredge 6.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, I guess it depends if Dredge keeps popping up in all these lists and multiples as it has the past month.
Right.
Then yeah, I can probably see a banning in January.
The thing that I'm kind of sitting here, kind of teetering, and I guess it really depends how much people take it, is if Tom showing up with this green-white Tron is going to impact anything. I don't think it is just because it's the week before. But at least maybe he's probably going to open up some opportunities that people didn't think as for Tom.
Tom is a very innovative deck builder.
Well, I mean,
no matter the format.
I mean, it can't all just be Tom. I mean, look at the team that he works with. It's that whole Roanoke crew in general.
True, but he convinces a lot of people of the decks he plays.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, the thing in Modern that stands out to me isn't this last weekend, but the weekend prior with the Scred Red deck that won. What I loved about that list was it played total 4 copies of Eternal Scourge. Now, Eternal Scourge is a 3-mana Eldrazi from Eldritch Moon that when it was targeted, it would exile itself.
Yeah.
However, you can cast it from exile, which means you can cast your Anchor of the Gods, wipe the board, and then recast your creature, which is phenomenal against, anyone, but also Dredge, you're wiping their creatures out. And then meanwhile, you will be playing Blood Moons and other things and locking them out of the game with Crucibles and other such effects. And then out of the sideboard, to supplement your Blood Moons, he was playing 3 Molten Rain to just start blowing up your opponent's, non-basics, or come the fact that you have a Blood Moon, they're basics.
Yeah.
Word.
Just takes me back to my old land destruction deck that I used to play.
Let's not go back. I'd rather not go back.
Good old Stone Rain.
To...
Brian Stone Rain.
But moving on to predicting the climate change of Magic the Gathering, we got some interesting celebrity news.
Yeah, in celebrity news, Shuhei Nakamura, a consistently underrated player, despite the fact that he's in the Hall of Fame, was the first player to receive 100,000 Planeswalker points, making him not only the first player to do this, but he was also the first player to he was also the first player to top 8 and win a GP in each continent besides Antarctica, because we don't really play Magic there.
They might.
With the Penguins, Akeem?
Heck yeah!
That would be adorable.
They only play
Most
Ice
penguins
Age.
would kick your butt with all those Force of Wills they got.
All they do is play Ice Age, though.
They got jetpacks.
According to Star City, they do.
They're fairies players. Pendilian players.
Oh, no. Bless you.
Oh, God.
So then,
That's a lot of magic. That is a lot of magic to play.
he is a Hall of Famer for a reason. So we're going to go to local news. Commander 2016 came out this past Friday. Have you guys played with
Yes, I have 2 decks.
it? You would.
And my girlfriend has another one.
Of course.
No, because I don't play Commander. But if I was, I'd want to play the one with the Traxa.
That's
Yes.
the one my girlfriend got.
That's the one you would go, Mr. Elishnor.
Well, yeah, she looks like a Leshnorn. But mainly, I want to play a fuck ton of Planeswalkers and proliferate.
Yeah, seems legit.
It's annoying as fuck.
It seems like also a great creature to protect said Planeswalkers.
Yeah, she's really good. If you
Yeah.
can't answer her, she just gets out of
Can't
hand.
Doomblader, can't go for the Throater. That alone spreads a lot of kill spells.
Seems legit, boss.
Damn straight.
But it's a lot of fun. I really like these 4-color commander decks.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I actually can't wait to see what they're going to do next year, because they just keep upping the ante. Last year was Planeswalkers. Or not, the year before that was Planeswalkers. Then they had the...
Enemy, dual, enemy.
And now they have 4 colors. What's next? 5-color? Don't listen to this. Don't do 5-color.
Yes,
You're only gonna have
5-color commanders.
You're only going to have 1.
5-color commanders.
It's going to have Force of Will, Black Lotus, all the things that we can't have in life.
Yes.
It's going to be
what he said.
$200.
I'd buy 5. If there were only $200 and
Every
they had all
card
those
would
cards.
be gold bordered.
Aw.
Damn it.
Damn, never mind.
Damn it.
Never mind. A $30 market.
Signed by Mark Rosewater.
No. Still not worth it anymore. The
You see-
gold border alone ruined it.
You see, the problem with white border is... No, I'm going to stop him there.
Wow.
Ruben does it better.
I know. I'm not Ruben, okay? He's a poker guy. And he's awesome at Magic, too. He's on coverage.
Speaking of that, he recently resigned his position at Tales of Adventure.
Really?
Yeah, he decided that he was not happy living in Philadelphia. It was not, to him, what he called home. Despite the fact that he grew up in Columbus, whenever he thought of home, he pictured Vegas, which is where he lived for a long time. So his current plan is to transition back to Vegas. He's going to live the rest of the year in Columbus, Ohio with his parents. And then next year, the beginning of next year, go back to Las Vegas, where he can pursue both Magic, his coverage of poker, and be close enough to LA to pursue minor voice acting.
You know what she does do?
All right.
So,
then.
good luck to Mr. Ruben Bresler.
I'll forgive that remark you made about Detroit and Michigan last year. I'm not bitter.
No, not at all.
Not even a
Since
little
you're
bit.
bringing it up almost a year later.
I know, right? I'm so good at that.
Anyway.
But Standard Showdown is also coming up this Thanksgiving
I am
weekend.
so pumped to
Are
get
you?
my foil commons.
Yeah, I mean, personally, it could be good. We never know. It might be fine.
I like to play Standard, so I'm going to show up regardless.
Yeah, and that'll be Black Friday weekend, so, you know, hey, maybe there'll be some special deals at your local game store.
I was going to say technically Saturday is small shop Saturdays. So maybe those local hobby stores have cut stuff. I do know of a couple locations that are having some sales.
Regardless, guys, foil commons.
You have fun with those comments.
I know, right?
I'm calling it right now. I'm getting my Verdict Catacomb expedition back.
You already did that once. It's not going to happen again.
Hey, I got a masterpiece too. So.
I hate you so much.
Yeah, pretty much. Before we sign off really quick, Akeem, since we're all here and since we're taking a week off, I figured I'd ask you guys now going into it. Brian decided to pop us all a quiz here with Dex.
I'm not gonna marry you.
Damn it.
Or I.
Especially since you're already taken, so I
I
don't know.
right? Polygamy's a thing.
3 things that you're thankful for from 2016.
I
know that's stretching it for you, Brian.
I'm alive.
Cop-out answer. But okay, fine.
I'm thankful for the fact that I am employed, and I am thankful for the family and friends that I have to make this podcast with.
Lucky.
What?
Damn. Wow, I was trying to do something nice, and you just had to ruin it.
What are you thankful for, Mr. Bryant?
2016's been a rough year for him.
Yeah, it's been a rough year.
2016's been a rough year for all of us.
It's been a very rough year. So many musicians died.
Actors.
We elected a raging tangerine.
Let's not go there! We stay neutral, period.
I merely said we elected a fruit.
Thanks.
Three things in 2016. If you'd said 2015, I would have had some answers.
Mm-hmm.
On 2016, well, okay. I am thankful for Spell Queller. I am thankful. Wait, does this all have to be magic pertaining?
No,
Oh,
I just
whatever.
said generally.
I assumed it was...
No.
Okay.
No.
That's why I said I was alive.
He was going to say he went with 3 completely... I just said 3 things to be thankful for, given the holiday time.
I am thankful for Spell Queller.
Yes.
I still don't blame you.
I am thankful for my friends and family,
Yeah. You're welcome.
except for Akeem.
Oh,
Damn.
squid.
And I am thankful for...
That we're going to 2017.
Fuck yeah, man. That we are going to a new year. Just let's...
Done
this
with
one's
2016.
This has been a rough one. Let's
Let's wipe the board.
swipe the board.
Take a
Let's-
judgment.
Let's cast a planar cleansing and start fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to let's end this game and go to the sideboard.
That's fair.
New
fair.
game. What about
fair.
you, Steph?
First one. First thing I'm thankful for.
Spell Queller.
No.
Spell Queller was really
No,
good.
mine's still up there. It's also happy that she still got the market price that she does, but Liliana the Last Hope, really thankful for her.
Oh, I will say I'm thankful I opened a foil one during the pre-release.
Yeah, it's his 4th one.
See, and you made it so difficult to find 3.
Forgot about it.
Man, I'm just happy that I called her being good, and she showed up everywhere, and it's great. Second thing I'm happy for is, for the most part, given a few minor things, not going to go into it some more, my life for the most part is stable and sound, and things for the most part are okay. And I am thankful for, well, just being able to hang out and enjoy what I do and make these podcasts with you guys, because for the most part, I wouldn't have imagined being able to do things like this. So
I was about to say, I have a 5th one. It's this whole thing that we're doing here. Thankful for the podcast.
He grumbled at 3
Fuck off.
and ended with 5. Wow!
Dear viewer, fuck Stefan.
Well, you guys. It's awesome.
Don't touch me.
Squid!
Oh, God.
Squid!
Well, that's going to do it for another episode of Loyalty Counters. You can find me at Musamichi. That's Musamichi.
You can find me at Fell Story on Twitter. That's FELL Story.
And you can find me at Finny91. That's FINNYIE91.
And you have yourself a wonderful holiday. Catch you later.